The same for expenditure. It was only in the recurrent aspect, the non-oil debt, the debt recurrent expenditure, that we attained over 90%, of course, for understandable reasons, because those ones are more or less non-discretionary. Government, has to meet them. But in terms of the capital component, we also saw, a major shortfall. Out of about 2.1 trillion that was budgeted for capital spending in 2017, only about 1.5 trillion we were told, was released and cash backed. And so you find that shortfall, of course, affected the implementation of the capital component. And the major thing that affected implementation, had to do with the delay in even the passage of the 2017 appropriation bill, because that meant that implementation of the 2017 budget was effectively halted up till the beginning of June or July. So that delay also impacted it. And when you tie this together with the lengthy procurement process, you're not surprised that we had, that kind of, outturn. So if you look at it generally, to be able to balance the budget, you have to, ramp up your revenue to meet with your expenditure. Okay, and where revenue is far below your expenditure, you're bound to have this, deficit.
Yes.
In,
so the budget, Professor, the budget 2017, you explained that. Where is budget 2018, and how soon do you think budget 2019 should get on stream? This is the end of September. Where is budget 2018, and where is budget 2019?
Yes. From what we know, from what we've been told, it is only the recurrent aspect of the 2018 budget that one can say is ongoing. The capital component is, we are yet to see any form of traction in the implementation of the capital component of the 2018 budget. Again, partly on account of the delay in signing the budget, and again, partly again on account of the not too cordial relationship between the executive and the legislature. Because for us to be able to even do the capital component of the budget, money has to be borrowed. The budget has provided for external borrowings, that must be approved by the National Assembly, and National Assembly, hasn't been there to approve these external loans for even the capital component, to kick in. And what is, for me, too, a lot more worrisome, talking about the 2019 budget, is that if you look at the Section 318 of the Constitution, it clearly says budget year must be from January, to December. And we have been told that there are efforts being made to, correct this broken budget cycle we've had for years. But it doesn't seem to me that we are going to get it right this time, because we are approaching the end of December. Section 11 of the 2017 Fiscal Responsibility Act says that 4 months to the end of the fiscal year, 4 months to the start of the following fiscal year, the government is the executive arm is expected to submit the medium-term expenditure framework, to the National Assembly for approval, on the basis of which the appropriation bill, will be drawn up. This hasn't happened, and we're approaching the end of. So it is yet to be seen how the 2019 budget, will be ready by, January, given the fact that as we speak, we still don't have the medium-term expenditure framework. The appropriation bill is yet to be laid before the National Assembly. So that's my worry. It also means that we may not see any substantial improvement, any significant improvement in the implementation of the 2018 capital component. But let me also note that if you look at past experiences, with respect to 2017, a substantial progress was made in terms of the implementation of the capital component of the 2017 budget. If you look at the amount that was released and cash back, 1.5 trillion in relation to 2.1 trillion. So one expects to have an improvement, on this, particularly where the ERGP has provided for a minimum of 30% of, the budget being dedicated to capital spending. So we need to improve on this year in, year out, if the targets in the ERGP, must be maintained. So I was talking about the 2017 budget and the huge adverse variances we saw in the deficit to GDP ratio. The deficit to GDP ratio was in the 2017 budget originally planned at far less than 3%. 3% is the cap provided in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. But what did we say in that 2017 budget? That the budget deficit in 2017 was put at around 2.3 trillion, but the actual that was recorded was in excess of 3.8 trillion naira, and so that now explained the huge borrowing tool that was used to finance finance the deficit. If you also look at the borrowing that has been done, it was also in excess of what was projected. Little wonder we are now having ballooning public debt stock, especially the external debt stock. In fact, both external and domestic
yes. Professor Waleke, you've put this very succinctly for us, this very elaborate and contextualized reactions to this. Thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate that. Economist and Professor of Capital Markets at the National State University, Uche Waleke. Of course, we're going back to the marketplace to look at our trading day. What a hawkish CBN stance means for the equities market. You heard earlier what United Cap says it means downside, but let's hear from the trading floor, shall we?